Hi everybody, it's Lynda Keane here again, and today I'm very honoured to have Rose with me all the way from South Africa, and we're going to have our little chat and hopefully you'll get to learn a bit more about what makes Rose tick and her passion for the water and some of the things that she sort of started really all by herself just from an idea. So welcome, Rose.
Thank you, Lynda, and it's an absolute honour to be here, and I'd like to say thank you to everybody and look forward to you all listening to how we all talk about aqua fitness and where we're heading.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to start with, how long have you been working and teaching in the water, Rose?
Okay, I sort of went on a very different journey. I started aqua fitness as a client before I started teaching. I sort of heard about aqua fitness. My daughter was about 5 years old and she was learning to swim at a little school here in South Africa, Ganubi, and I'd heard about aqua fitness. I sort of approached them and said, oh, I'd love to join the classes. So they said, well, we've only got evening classes. I said, that's not going to work for me. I said, you know, sort of the morning classes. So they said, well, what time would suit you? So I said, 8 o'clock. So they said, all right, no problem. We'll start a class for you. Well, firstly, I had no idea what I was jumping into. I didn't know what aqua fitness was. And I thought, well, here goes. I'm going to go and let's give it a go. And I was all by myself in this class for about 3 months before it grew. And I mean, you all discovered I loved it. So I think that bit of passion, I've always tried to make sure that when I went out to teach, that would be where my starting goal would be, is because it kept me going. I mean, I was all on my own in this little class with the instructor looking down at me. And of course, you feel you've got to perform, but I absolutely loved it. And I hope that through that, I can at least make sure that everybody else has that same joy when they come to aqua fitness. And of course, I was there for about 4 years, and then that class closed down, and then I moved on to another venue in Ganubi, which was slightly a bit bigger. And that instructor there saw the passion in me and said, well, why don't I do the course? So of course, that was sort of 16 years ago. Off I headed to do the course through South African Water Fitness Association. And I've never looked back. I've absolutely loved the journey. I've learned so much. My clients will have had a good laugh because they remember me when I used to say, run, the soft little voice. And now, of course, my voice is, run, let's go. So yes, it's been a whole learning curve, and enjoyed every moment and still learning. I believe we never too old to learn. Every video that I watch on Facebook that everybody shares from around the world, there's something you can take away that you can utilize in your class. So that's why I've always shared so many videos and so many bits and pieces from everybody around the world, because there's something there that I see you could add or add part of to your exercise.
Absolutely. I mean, I always think that, you know, if you go to any kind of lecture or even any kind of class and you come back with one idea, then it hasn't been a waste. And when I teach the courses, I'd always say to people, you know, you've got to go to a bad course or bad class, should I say, and you've got to go to a good class, because you only know a bad class when you've done a good class, and you only know a good class when you've done a bad class. So there's no bad thing, but it's all learning. It's learning what works. You have to be in that pool to understand what works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And to think they set up a class just for you, I mean, that just, you get that in the UK, I can tell you.
Well, I've actually done it a couple of times where I've said to like my smaller venues, I'll say, hey, you know, there's an opportunity here, shall we give it a go? And even some of my gyms, one of my gym classes, I think everybody sort of does know me that I've got a 5 a.m. class that starts up at my Ganubi gym, and that started in my pool at home. And eventually I went to the gym and I said, listen, these guys want to join, come on. And that's where it started. And I think I've grown that at stages up to about 13, 14 people in the morning.
Fabulous.
So yeah, it's got to start somewhere. And, you know, those people talk. And especially if you make it fun, etc. I mean, 5 a.m. in the morning is not always the best of times. But once you've done it and you're there, you think, well, now I'm done for the day. So it's so much better. You've actually got up early. You feel a different person. You start your day on the right foot. And what a lovely way to kickstart the day and move forward. Then when you get home later, you can have that glass of wine. You've worked hard for it.
Absolutely. I think any time of the day is the right time of the day, because it depends if you're a night person or a day person or to anything. So it's, you know, whatever time of the day, as long as you're doing something and doing some exercise, and the right time of the
day. I always believe where there's one person, there's got to be more. But unless you start, and I believe also through the social media, it's the best way you can quickly advertise a class and quickly show up that there are people out there. And each person, I mean, there's so much opportunity. Why not utilize that? Pool's going to stand empty anyway. Why not build on it?
Yeah, no, that's good. So what did you do then before you came into teaching and attending classes? Did you have a...
Funny, I worked in a supermarket.
Oh, did you?
Packing shelves first, and then eventually working on doing the ordering for the supermarket and putting on, costing everything and making sure it was getting out onto the shelves. So yeah, that's where it all started. And then from there, I mean, I never expected this type of career to take place. And I never looked at it as being a career, I must admit. When I first started teaching, it was more, I love being around people. I'd absolutely loved this exercise because there's just so much you could do with it. You never got bored. The music, there was different music you could play. It, you know, and I just felt that it's something that everybody and anybody could do. So why not? So that's how it started. And it started with like 3 or 4 classes a week. And eventually now I've got up to 35 classes a week, but it was never planned like that. It just slowly grew, and I just saw so much value coming out. There were people getting stronger. There were people who were really battling to move, and suddenly they were moving better. There was just so much. I mean, to me, that's why it's like so hard now. It's been like 2 months been out of the pool areas, but I just can't wait to get back because there's such value. I get so inspired by these people that you wouldn't expect to be able to move, arrive at your pool, and then you start. And you treat them like anybody else. I mean, once in water, nobody can see if there's anything wrong with you or not. Absolutely. That's what I also love. You know, you look at a group of people and you think...
Very equalizer, great equalizer.
Yeah. So once again, off you go, and everybody is just treated the same. So, and that's why, you know, nobody like thinks, oh, you know, you can't move quite as well as that one. You all move the same. Doesn't matter how big or small. So yeah, that's why it's just, to me, the most wonderful format. And I suppose that's how I've grown into what I've done, is because I just believe in it. I know I'm not the only one. There's you and there's many more. We believe in what we're doing.
Absolutely. Very passionate about it, definitely. So you say you teach 35 classes a week. Wow. How many times do you personally get into the pool as well? So, you know, other than being on the poolside teaching, how often are you in?
Right in the beginning, I used to get in often. And then I did a online rehab course by Lynda. And then I realized the value of needing to stand out, because that's when you could see if anybody was doing it right or doing it wrong. And I must say, this lovely little gadget works very well, because you can actually take videos of your client and say, look, this is what I mean when I'm saying that you're doing this wrong or that wrong. And they can actually physically see. Whereas, I mean, if you think back years ago, we didn't have access to these items to take a quick video to show people. So yeah, it's helped me and it's helped my clients. I mean, my clients have probably taught me more than what books have taught me. They'll say to me, oh, Rose, this hurts. Why? And off we go. And we Google Doctor, works very well for me. Or in many cases, I put out on Facebook, and many of you have answered many questions. So I get an answer somewhere, and they all know I will not stop until I get an answer or find a way that we can actually make it more comfortable for them. And we do. Somewhere along the line, we just take it smaller or bigger, or let's just not do that one at all. And it's helped. You know what it's like. I think you've also dealt with people like that.
Yeah, that's where my journey of fascia started, was trying to answer the questions. And then once I got involved with that, I haven't looked back really. So I've got a lot of workshops that I've done. A lot of them are now we're beginning to record to put those online as well. But understanding how that works in water is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
That's an area that you'll have to teach me a bit, because I've touched on it, because I've had to deal with one client that we thought maybe was in that line. So again, I wouldn't mind doing something in that line and learning a bit more. But it's a very interesting course.
Yes, yes. And my other one is hypermobility. So that's another thing that you get a lot of people coming to the pool that are hypermobile and sort of understanding the different way that you need to treat them. Anyway, this is not about me.
Yeah. So we're all about learning from each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you prefer sort of like dealing with one-to-one people or the group exercise?
I actually prefer in groups, because I believe that together we learn. You know, often just by somebody yakking away in the pool relaxes somebody else, whereas they might have been felt a bit tense. Or so I actually prefer the group exercises. And I also find I've always been one of those that if I'm going to build something, I might as well build a family. So as a group, we've sort of sit and we yak, you know, we'll exercise and we'll talk at the same time. More so in the smaller groups. The gyms, the people get a little bit tense when people talk. So you've got to sort of say to people, you know, keep it down. And also with gyms, I think because you're working with a sort of more upbeat, you want to sort of keep the movement going fast. Whereas your smaller groups, they are the ones that sort of come more for one-on-one sort of care, rather than too fast.
I think that's a lovely saying that you said, though, that if you're going to build anything, build a family. I mean, what fabulous.
It's true, though. I mean, I've got a most amazing family. And the thing is, 9 out of 10 times when you go and you say, right, we're going to go and do a picnic at the river, this one or that one will beat up and they'll say, oh, do you also do aqua? They pretty much know all each other. They just don't realize that one's doing aqua there and that one's doing aqua there. And so it's just so nice. And I mean, they've taught me so much. I've learned so much from all my clients. And that to me is what you're doing something for, whether it be something about music or color or, you know, just general stuff. They're always teaching me something new. And that's how I look at life. That's a journey.
It is a journey, absolutely. So what would you say has been the biggest challenge in your career?
Yeah, I would say probably one of my biggest ones was I was asked to help out at one of the venues, and I knew it was a very deep pool. It was 6 feet deep. And I thought, to try and get aqua up and running there, the majority of people I know will be sort of non-swimmers. So you know, and I know, when arriving at a pool as a non-swimmer, it must be so daunting for them. That's why I've got a huge amount of admiration for them, for what they managed to achieve. And I think it was my fastest growing class ever. The most amazing, amazing people. When I've seen what they've managed to achieve, and the care that they've given each other, because somebody will arrive at the pool and they're sort of going down that pool thing, and so you can see the nerves. And I say, oh, please help me. And they'll come, and then you can see that gentleness of helping them and moving them across to the bar and putting them on the bar. And within days of being there, you can't believe how they come along, and they get so much stronger and so much more confident. That's also something that I've done over the years now. We've sort of linked up the swimming instructors, and those people can now go on and learn to swim, because that's how we should be doing it. We should be working, you know, aqua is a lovely way for a lot of non-swimmers to actually get more comfortable in water, because it's nerve-wracking for anybody. I mean, you can be the strongest athlete, you get in water, and just working that resistance sort of takes you out of performance, and you think, what's happening here? So even for just a strong athlete, it's difficult for them to understand that it's resistance that's sort of stopping you from moving comfortably. I mean, it doesn't take them long. It takes a non-swimmer a lot longer to get more comfortable. But when they do, I mean, they come along and they're absolutely so rewarding of watching what they can do. And the expressions on their faces, I think, says it all. Like I've said to many of them, as a child, you learn very fast because you're not nervous. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the fear that you're going to drown. But as we grow older, we're aware of those fears. And one of them is we know we can drown. So that's automatically what stops them. So when I watch them and I see how they eventually let go and achieve, and I look at them and I say, do you see what you've achieved? I mean, that face, it's so rewarding. And that's what just keeps me moving forward, is watching what people, I mean, every day, there's even your strong ones inspire you by what they manage to achieve. You sort of look and you think, oh, they're going faster. They're pushing their, look how much stronger they are, how much fitter they are. And you sort of inspired daily by everybody, all levels of fitness. And that's what I've absolutely loved about Aqua Fitness, is there's just so many people, and every single one of them have got something to teach you.
They have. Right, before we go any further, it's suddenly very dark around you.
Oh, okay. It's because we're heading into night time. We're in the middle of winter.
You switch the light out. There you go.
Does that make it better?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is South Africa. You're going into summer, and I think you only get dark around about 11 o'clock at night.
Not quite that late, but yeah, about 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's much better. Okay.
Good.
So I think that leads us into another very good question. What's your favourite piece of kit to use in the pool? Your favourite bit of equipment?
Now you're going to ask me, because I feel they've all got a bit of value. Every single one, there's been some lovely ideas, from using balls to frisbees to empty water bottles to noodles to half noodles. I see a lot more lovely equipment overseas that we haven't quite got here, which is your exercise bike and your treadmill and pole dancing and trampoline and those type of things.
Yeah, very expensive.
The bits that we've got, we sort of utilize, and I love using, I always try and add something different every week. I always try and add equipment, because I look at it as the same format as land. It's good to do some strength training. So I do believe that once a week there must be a little bit of strength training, not just using your water, because I know you get your strength training just by utilizing your water, but by adding a little more. So all my clients know it'll either be the noodle, or it'll be the ball, or it'll be bottles. And all of them say, oh, Rose, we need those bottles again. I've got some muscles that I didn't know that I had, sort of thing. So yeah, everything, as I say, every little piece of equipment's got value. I wish I could leave my equipment in each venue, because some of my equipment I travel around with, and then only the sort of noodles get left. The venues provide with noodles, because then it'd be nice to actually add, when you do use equipment, that you do more than one type of piece of equipment. because it's also nice to use maybe some bottles up here with some water in. Then it's nice to use noodles in the water, you know, what all I'm sort of explaining here. Then maybe the ball in between holding your legs together and doing double knees up, or, you know, so many different things. It's all adds value.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Out of interest, what's your favorite equipment?
That's a loaded question. Much the same. I think there's, you know, different pieces of equipment for different things. I think, you know, the buoyancy wise, the noodle is definitely the most sort of versatile. And as you said, you can chop it down into halves, you can chop it into quarters, you can have it full size. There's square ones, there's the round ones, you know, there are a variety. And our pool only has the normal round ones. So I do like those. I like mitts if I'm doing something and working with wrists. I like dumbbells, but different dumbbells for different things. I can't stand it though when I see people do bicep curls with the dumbbell, because dumbbells are made of foam and they float. So a bicep curl isn't a bicep curl. You have to do it in a different way to make it biceps. And I like the Aqua Strength, the drag equipment for different reasons as well. So I think, you know, like you, I like the variety. I like using the balls as long as you can actually grip, because they tend to sort of like, you know, unless you have them not quite blown up so much, they tend to get very slippery. So so I think, and I've just actually written a new workout today using the bands as well that you can put around your sort of legs to increase distance as well. So
that's one thing I haven't tried, but I also found that they don't last long, because they say the water, the chlorine eats them up quickly.
It can do. There is a company now that has some that are chlorine resistant. I think Meglio. Chlorine resistant. So sort of like, but the good thing about them in a way is that you can almost stick them in a handbag. They fold up so small. Aqua equipment. Or the other thing that I'm, especially post-COVID, I'm thinking of sort of like finding a little kit. So maybe a pair of mitts, maybe a band, maybe a noodle, because I don't weigh too much. So again, the elderly, just saying to people, look, you've got your own swimming costume. You know, why don't you have your own kit bag as well? It's not heavy, and then they can bring it, and then you don't have to worry about disinfecting and doing things like that. So, you know, that's one of my latest thoughts on things like that.
A lot of people thinking along those terms as well.
You know, so we'll see. I've sort of like listened to lots of lectures across the world and looked at different protocols. So I'm just sort of trying to put together a plan for when I go back to work to suggest to my boss at the pool and see what he says. So okay, so let's move on a little bit. So you are world renowned now, starting the worldwide aquathon day. So tell me a little bit about that story, what inspired you to start doing it, and how it's evolved over, it's year 7 this year, is it? 8.
One, yeah.
So tell me a little bit
it's actually funny where when I moved into my second venue as a client, and when I first started teaching there, I thought, how come there aren't a lot of people doing this exercise? I think it's fantastic. It's valuable for all ages, not just the elderly. You get a good workout for all ages. I mean, at that stage, I think I was in about 36, so I was still pretty young. And I thought, why are there not more people doing this exercise? Our pool should be full. And of course, ask questions, and many people said, well, that's just how it is. And of course, summer, I don't know if yours also does that in summer, your pools get nice and full, and then winter it sort of dwindles and the numbers go down. And I've asked a few questions to quite a lot of countries, Norway, etc., what their numbers are over winter. And they've actually all shocked me by saying that in the middle of winter, their classes are full. They sit between 40 and 60 people in the pool. They said, but as spring comes, the numbers go down. So I said, well, why is that? They said, no, because now people want to get out into the fresh air. I said, okay, that makes sense. Whereas here we sort of, summertime, everybody wants to get to the pool and your numbers sort of go up. And then as winter, as it starts getting colder, and I mean, it doesn't get very cold here, by the way.
Yeah.
So you know, should I say down in East London, Joburg, Cape Town, the ones closer to the mountains, they do get quite chilly. But where we are, we've got quite a mild winter. It doesn't snow here. So that shows you get a bit cold, but not freezing. And the numbers sort of drop. And that's hence why I think this whole worldwide sort of started coming up. Then that venue closed down. It didn't continue as a venue. And I got into the gyms and I thought, how am I going to get people involved in this water? And I'd already started, I'd actually done 2 little aquathons in the smaller venue. And they did it for helping a little school with their bathrooms. This is, I'm talking probably 15, 16, 17 years ago. And I quite liked the concept with this little aquathon idea where you just get your clients, they can come in at any time, 3 hours. And I actually did one in the water for the full 3 hours, had my music all sorted out, exactly what I was going to do in the class. By the time I got out that pool 3 hours later, I was starving. So yes, I've done it all. And I just thought, and then as I got into the bigger venues, they said, oh, Rose, we're so glad you did this. You know, we haven't been to Aqua for a long time, but this got us back into it again. Thank you. I said, oh, okay. And then there's been a couple of people who have gone on to do an aqua instructor's course because they've been part of the aquathon and they think, oh, I love this. And they said, well, how can we become actual instructors? And of course, you pass on the information. And I've just from a lot of people, they've said to me, oh, this friend can't wait. She's tried it for the first time in the aquathon, loved it. She's coming to join me at whatever venue that friend's at. I've worked out as many venues as I'm in. You cannot take a person away from one venue and add them to another. So they're going to stick with their venues. So I'm quite safe when I put a little event together to keep everybody going to that event. They will still go back to the same venue that they come from. They just know, oh, it's so nice to be with a bigger group or whatever. And there's some people that don't like going to events anyway. But I've just found that through the aquathon, people have grown to love it. People have actually come on board for the first time through an aquathon and decided, oh, no, I've got to change my life. This is the starting point. To people going on and actually doing an instructor's course, etc. So I feel it's got so many different values of how it's grown. And it is for venues, it's opened up to people where, oh, that venue does teach aqua, that's nice to know. Or this one links that one up there. It's definitely linked the whole world, all directions. I've in a matter of a day, I've linked people up into England into an aqua class, to America into an aqua class, to pretty much Australia into an aqua class. So there's definitely through it, you can link up quickly and get people into classes. And I definitely would say we're blessed with amazing instructors from around the world, all over. Not one specific place, all over.
It's grown phenomenally, you know, really has, isn't it? Because I remember from the first year and Hayley saying, oh, should we do this? Should we do it? Yeah. And it's,
But you've got to admit, it leaves a lovely vibe in the air.
Yeah.
You know, everybody gets excited, and it's the one time people don't even think twice. It goes straight onto social media. Here's our class. And it just, which was the actual idea, is how quickly it clogs up social media, where everywhere is just aqua fitness. Yeah. And that's the idea, because that's what you want people to sort of acknowledge. And that's where a lot of people didn't know what aqua fitness was. And I think now when they're realizing, oh, it's not just my little place, everyone's doing it. it sort of then says to people, oh, what am I missing out? I also want to do it. So yes, I think it's thanks to all of you worldwide that have come on board and turned it into so much fun. I mean, you've got to admit the amount of people that have thought out the boxes with the lovely flag ideas, the balls that are the globe. There's just so many phenomenal ideas that I've watched as people have shared. And the camaraderie that goes around, everybody supporting each other, not just me, supporting each other, which I think is what it's actually all about.
We're supported every way because again, you know, it's for charities as well. So charities out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think also you get people that come. I mean, the pool that we work at, we have, we do the aquatic. We have a couple of pools, so people can see things going on in a different pool and then go, oh, I've never tried doing that. You know, we've had the poles in there. We've done therapy work in there. We've done sort of Tai Chi type stuff in there, and we've done the normal aqua classes with the equipment and everything. So, and the deep water even, I think, yeah. So it's spread across everywhere. So people can see and try things that they might not have even thought about because they're so set on, you know, Monday, 6 o'clock, aqua.
That's it.
And they get to see other instructors that they might like their way of doing things as well. So no, it's amazing. You've done an amazing job in uniting the world. And
well, I couldn't have done it without all of you. I've always believed, you know, something on your own is only a drop in the ocean. Together we dream work. So it's thanks to everybody around the world for being part of that and making it into what it is. You know, it's impossible to have done it on my own. Totally.
Yeah. Big world, really. Small in some aspects, but very big.
Yeah.
So have you got any other projects up your sleeve?
At this stage, not really. You know, for me, I've just finished another online course with A.R.E.A, which is called Wave Makers Activate. Yeah. So through that, I've learned a lot more. Now I'm just edging to get back in the water so I can start putting everything into practice.
Absolutely.
But, you know, for me at this stage, I'd love to see Aqua to continue growing, not just in my town, but around the world. And I'm praying and hoping that not too many pools and venues will be affected by this coronavirus, because even if you think of just aqua, what about swimming? There's thousands of people that can't swim yet, and to me it's the one thing that's also as important as aqua. Everybody, it should be everybody's right. They should know how to swim. So we need these pools. We can't just let them sort of disappear, and we need to keep them busy from early morning till late evening, so they make them viable.
Yeah.
And what I've seen in many of the countries, I mean, some of these countries, their pools are busy and they go. And we all need to sort of get involved with our pools and make that same thing happen, because I do believe that you can keep a pool busy from first thing in the morning till late in the night. And it can bring in the revenue that's needed for everyone. So I would hate the coronavirus to cut down jobs, especially in that industry, because people will still turn to other waterways. You know, there's dams, there's rivers, there's oceans. And if they can't swim, how safe are those venues to turn to? At least with a pool, they're in a controlled environment that we can teach everybody safely, so that when they do venture out, they can feel a bit more confident in venturing, and they'll be taught, stay close to the side, don't go too deep, you know, build yourself up strength-wise, swim-wise.
Yeah, no, quite agree. I mean, there's a lot of water on this planet that we live on, and So it's crucial that people learn how to swim, definitely.
So yeah, other than that, I just want to see aqua fitness grow, and for many people to have the value. I always said, if I could hopefully see everybody have had the opportunity to at least try one aqua class in their lifetime.
Yeah, quite agree. I think, and also, you know, when you get to that stage where you can't do the Pilates anymore or the yoga, you can't get down on the floor, you can always get into a pool, always.
That's it. And I've seen lots of pictures or videos, 99 and still swimming, 98 still swimming, and so it goes. So yes, come on, let's keep our world nice and fit and young and strong.
That's it, absolutely. Okay, so I think we've got one more question, and that's, should you ever retire, what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, I don't know. I've never sort of looked at life at myself. It's always been, I do things for others. I'm not one for the limelight to be on me. I prefer it on other people. So yeah, I think I'd just like to be remembered that we had a load of fun with Rose in her aqua classes. That would sort of make me happy that I've reached the goal we wanted to together.
Yeah.
That was a lovely,
that is one
a lovely family life.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
absolutely. So your aquatic family, but I think you will be remembered for that anyway. So, you know, that's, I think, vital. It's that people come to the water because of you, and they get better in the water and everything. So a very good thing to be remembered for, I think.
Well, I'd like to be remembered together with everyone, not just on my own. Yeah.
Standing on poolside.
That's it. There we go.
Absolutely.
Well, there's still that, I think it was Scotland. Was she 98 that she was busy instructing the ladies because the instructor hadn't arrived?
Oh, blimey. I haven't read that one. I've seen
it was about a year ago. I somehow see these things and I think, yes, let's share this, because I've always felt there's no such thing as age, and everybody, I mean, some of the most phenomenal information's coming through from the older generation. So that shows there's no such thing as age.
That's it. If you can stay fit and active, then there's no reason why you can't keep teaching forever.
That's it.
Yeah, just not
there we go.
35 classes a week.
It wasn't planned, I promise you. It just happened. And it's just
amazing. Well, it grows, it evolves. It's like the water, it's ever moving and ever changing. Yeah.
I can never say no to aqua, but I can say no to a lot of other things. So yeah, that's what happened.
That's it. Shows your passion. Shows your passion.
There we go.
Good, lovely. So on that note,
thank you.
We've come to the end. So hopefully everybody's enjoyed our little chat, and it's been lovely talking to you, Rose. And hopefully that we'll get you back on again. Maybe around when the next World Aquathon Day is, we can have another chat.
Maybe we can link the whole world up together.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
In a chat before a worldwide aquathon.
Absolutely, that would be brilliant. So.
Well, last and all, thank you so much, Lynda, and to everybody for listening. And keep splashing. Let's have fun.
Absolutely. Okay, take care, Rose.
You too. Bye.